Welcome back to my channel, Sipping with Sonia. I am Sonia Renee, and as always, I'm sipping on my water. If this is your first time here with us, welcome. Thank you for being here. And if you've been here before, hey y'all. All right, so today Auntie is going to be talking about how to identify red flags. Now, on my page, I talk all about love and relationships and healing from abandonment wounds so that you can live the best life that you desire. And in that, through trial and error, I've learned a lot of different things about these things when I found out that at 49 years old that I was adopted by accident. So it took me on a healing journey to journal not only what was going on in my life, but also put pen to paper and write a book about it. My book is called Abandonment, Not Your Fault, link in the description. And so I share those things also on my page. And today we're going to be talking about how to identify red flags. Now I know somebody saying, I know red flag when I see it. Do you? Because sometimes we confuse red flags with green flags because our sense memory recall reminds us and our history reminds us of how we've been treated in the past or how somebody played in our face in the past, right? So do we know the difference between the red flag and the green flag? So I want to give you a couple tips on how to identify some red flags, okay? Inconsistent words and actions, number one. They say one thing but do another. Now this one we know. This is a pretty easy one, okay? So we tipping our toe on lightly, right? This is a pretty easy one. You know, their actions don't line up with their words. Someone talks about honesty but hides things or lies casually, throw rocks and hides their hands, that kind of thing. And consistency is a mark of integrity, okay? And inconsistency is often a sign of manipulation or instability. Now, I always say inconsistent people will produce inconsistent results. Number two, you feel emotionally drained around them. I mean, you always walk away feeling confused and guilty, anxious, or exhausted. You know, your body often knows before your brain does. Emotional fatigue is a sign of imbalance or covert toxicity. You know, your body always feels it first because we're energy beings. And so you feel the energy first before your mind sometimes catches up to like, this person is not who I thought they were, right? Or this situation is not what I thought it was going to be, right? So be careful of that. Number three, they avoid accountability. This is a big one because this also can borderline narcissistic behavior. Blame others, never apologizes, always playing the victim. They create a whole situation of chaos. And then when you call them on their nonsense, they want to play victim. Ooh, and that just gets my goat. Every ex is crazy. Every boss was jealous. Red flag. You know, if they're always, you know, it's never their fault. It's always somebody else. You know, it takes two to tango though. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always the other person's fault. You had sometimes that person, they had a part to play in it too, but they don't take accountability for it. Okay. I know even too, like with my birth father, because I found out I was adopted at 49, like I said, and my birth father, after I met him and got to get to know him, and my aunt told me head on, oh, he's a narcissist, but I didn't know him. So I was like, let me just take the time to get to know him myself, because I'm the kind of person that somebody can tell me something about somebody, but I'm not going to just go by what you say. I'm going to see for myself, and I'm going to judge them on my own merit. This way, when I make my final decision, I'm secure in my decision based off of what I saw. That's just me personally, okay? And so he did something, and then he told my aunt he was going to do it, and he did it, and I was like, and I called him on it, and instead of just taking accountability, girl, he danced around that thing for 30 minutes. I was like, you know what, I'm over it, goodbye. And I hung up the phone because I have boundaries now. Oh yeah, you're not gonna play with me. You can't, at your big age, if you can't be accountable for your actions, then what are we doing? And you're the elder in this situation. You know, but when people have childhood wounds that they never healed from, a lot of times they won't take accountability because it's always everybody else's fault why their life is the way it is. No, at some point you become an adult and you can make an adult decisions, and you are where you are because of the choices and decisions that you made in a week, 2 year, 3, 5 years ago. You are right now where you are because of the decisions you made in the past. So you have to take accountability for them, right? The next one is love bombing and then withholding. This is a big one because we see this a lot in dating. You know, I just divorced, so I mean in the dating world, I see men come in hot, staying on 10 toes, saying all these wonderful things about me and everything, but then they're not pursuing, they're not doing the things, they're not scheduling a date, they're not doing all the things, they just want a phone buddy. And then when you call them on it, they're like, oh, they're not taking accountability. They want to over the top affection early on, followed by coldness, criticism, or distance. Because some people don't have the capacity to get past the honeymoon phase. That's why they go from person to person to person, because they can only handle the newness of a situation or a relationship. They don't have the capacity to go long term. They don't have staying power. Pay attention to that's a red flag. And this is emotional manipulation, often used by narcissists to gain control. Be careful. Number 5, control disguised as concern. This is a tricky one because, some people can express concern for you and your situation, and you won't really know how serious that person is until it's time to really roll up their sleeves and get gritty, get in the trenches with you, right? They say, I'm just looking out for you becomes possessiveness or intrusion. Like they want to possess you to control you, or they want to be intrusive into your life to find out how your life can make things better for them. Healthy love honors freedom, and control is about power, not care. And I found a lot of people who like to be in control are already out of control. Be careful. Number 6 is disrespect for your boundaries. This is a big one, especially in today's time where everybody's going through their healing journey. They're learning how to set healthy boundaries because they didn't have boundaries. They lacked boundaries with people, and people just walking all over them and being the nice girl. So sometimes you have to learn how to be the not nice girl, right? And they ignore your no. They joke about your limits. Everything is funny. They don't take you seriously, or pressures you to do things you're uncomfortable with. And this matters because boundaries are the core of emotional safety. And someone who erodes them is a danger to your peace. You have to think about someone, like if a person, you tell a person, like, this thing right here is an issue. This is a problem for me. And they don't do anything about it. They don't try to fix it. They don't try to work at the situation. They don't try to change things around. That's somebody that does not care, honey, and let them go. Because they would be a toxic headache to you, darling. Number 7, you ignore your own gut feelings. How many times have we done this? Now, for those of you in the beginning say, I know red flags when I see them. How many times have you ignored your gut feelings? I know, me too. I have. I'm guilty. I've ignored my gut feelings too. I have. That's how I ended up married for 16 years. Ignored my gut feeling. 2 weeks before I got married, God said, don't marry him. I didn't listen. So I got what I got because of disobedience. And because I didn't pay attention to those red flags, I ignored my gut feelings, right? I ignored that intuition, right? Something feels off, but you rationalize it anyway. And how rationalize it? Well, we've been together for so long. The good does outweigh the bad. We have a daughter. We've been living together. We're about to get married. Like, you start rationalizing all these wonderful things. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. So, we can work it out. It'll work. No, you pay attention to those signs, those red flags, because they're there, and they're there for a reason. Why? And your spirit will reject it first. Your energy will reject it first. And God's even rejecting it, but you still trying to make something out of it. What's going on with my earring, y'all? Y'all see my earrings? I love these earrings. My son bought them for me for my birthday. So we tend to rationalize or try to find a way to feel like this can work, because then the truth and reality is we don't want to start over again. This matters because discernment is your inner compass. It's there for a reason. God gave it to you for a reason, to protect you, right? So use it. If you're silencing it, something's wrong. Okay? So another way how to avoid these red flags is to listen to your body, not just your logic. 2, set boundaries early. 3, watch for patterns. No excuses. 5, take your time. There's no rush. Where's the fire? Take your time. 5, check in with trusted people. It's okay to communicate with your community about what's going on. Because sometimes people can give you better insight that you can give yourself if you're not paying attention to the red flags. Okay? Because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. Give yourself permission to leave. It's okay to walk away if it ain't right. Clearly that person wasn't for you. There was a lesson or a blessing. Learn what you were supposed to learn. Be grateful for the lesson. All right, move on to the next thing so that you can continue to evolve into everything that you desire to evolve into. All right. I am so grateful that you were here with me today so I can share this information with you. If you like this information, like and subscribe, comment in the chat below. I want to hear your thoughts on it. You know, Auntie wants to hear the tea, okay? And see you next time.